With this busy time of life that I'm in right now, I'm glad to have freezer meals on hand. Hey guys, okay, so over the past several weeks, I have made a lot of freezer meals, and like I promised in the video where I showed me putting these together, I will have that linked down below in the description box. I'll also have it pop up in the iCards in just a little bit, but I have been filming me actually cooking these freezer meals and letting you guys know how we like them, how they turned out, if I did anything different, and all of that. So let's get right into some more freezer meals. Okay, so freezer dinner number one that I'm making for dinner is chicken scampi, and I took this out yesterday morning, so it has had plenty of time to thaw. And it says to cook your noodles first because this doesn't take very long. So I actually have a mixture of noodles just shopping out of my pantry. So I'm gonna put a top on this, get that water boiling, get my noodles going. And then the only thing we have to do for this is use a large skillet, and then we're just gonna cook it until the chicken is done. It says over medium heat about 6 to 10 minutes. So I'm gonna get out my skillet, go ahead and get this going, put a top on the water, and then I will show you guys what everything looks like when it's all said and done. Okay, so I have my chicken in my, not necessarily a skillet, but this is just what I'm choosing to use. I really don't think this is gonna take too long. I just put it in there. I might turn the heat down a little bit. I have it on a 6 right now. But my water is not yet boiling for my noodles, which I guess they were right. I should have had my noodles start going first before the chicken, but that's okay. So I'm going to continue cooking the chicken, and I think instead of, I was just gonna have like a can of corn on the side. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is once the chicken is done, I'm just going to add my can of corn into this, and then we'll just have the noodles, and the kids can decide if they want this on top of the noodles or on the side, because my kids really like butter and soy sauce on their noodles. So I'm gonna finish cooking this up, and then I will show you guys how I'm having it and then how my kids decide to have it. That way you can see if there is, you know, the possibility of 2 different options. All right, dinner is done. So I plated it up the 2 separate ways that I know my family were probably gonna be like half and half. So this is for the adults. I have the corn and the chicken. I did go ahead and mix those together right in here, and I just let those cook. I put those over the noodles, and then I thought we needed something else. So I was looking around, you know, we're shopping our pantry right now, so I found some olives, and I was like, all right, olives, great. I just thought we needed something else. So this is what one version looks like, and then the other version, like I said, my kids really love noodles with soy sauce. So I left the chicken scampi with the corn mixed in on the side. I gave them some olives also, and then I just put the noodle mixture with a little bit of soy sauce on top over here for them. So I did take a bite. It tastes really good, although one thing that I have encountered making freezer meals is some of the taste, you lose that from the process of freezing it and then recooking it. So I would definitely maybe add some more butter and garlic while you're cooking it to give it that really more authentic scampi taste. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper since I didn't taste it until after it was done. It's time to eat. It's too late for me to add butter and garlic, but if you guys are gonna try this out, I would definitely add more butter and garlic when you're actually cooking it, just to keep more of the flavor. So that is freezer meal number 1 for this video. Okay, it is about 8:30 in the morning, and tonight we're going to have some chicken quesadillas. I had this in my refrigerator with another freezer meal on top of it, so I could defrost them both at the same time, and you can see that it took off the directions. So just a quick note, don't do that if you do not know the directions. I fortunately know the directions for this because this is the 3rd time that I have made it. It is a tried and true, very easy, delicious. My kids love it. So all I'm going to do is, you can see a little bit. I thawed it. I took it out yesterday morning, put it in my refrigerator, and I'm gonna cook it in my crock pot. I'm actually gonna go for 8 hours. That way it is ready about 4:30, and I'm gonna cook it on low to make sure that it does not burn or anything like that. So I've got my crock pot I'm just gonna dump this in there, and then I'm going to cook it on low for 8 hours. All right, you guys, it is going on 8 hours on low. It is about 4:15, so 15 more minutes and it will have been 8 hours. And this is definitely done. Now, I am not going to shred this with my hands. Even though it's super simple, it's still a lot quicker. I've shared this tip many times to use your hand mixer. So I'm gonna go ahead and shred my chicken, and then it is going to be ready to serve to my family. Okay guys, this is what we are having for dinner with the chicken quesadilla that we made in the crock pot. So there's lots of different ways that you can do this. I have both tortillas and taco shells here, and inside mine I have the shredded chicken, guacamole, sour cream, shredded cheese, and tomatoes. Sometimes, or most of the time, we have lettuce, but there's something going on, E. coli type of thing with the lettuce right now, so I didn't risk buying it. I just bought a fresh tomato, and I'm just using guacamole, sour cream, shredded cheese, and sometimes we have pinto beans, but I don't have any, so I had a can of refried beans. So I've got refried beans, and I just put some shredded cheese and tomato on top of that. I'll probably make myself another one of these too. These are so good. My kids love it. This is definitely a tried and true recipe. Okay guys, I am making another freezer meal, except I'm making this one for lunch. So it is about 11:40, and I'm gonna go ahead and preheat my oven to 425. And then I'm thinking my pizza's gonna have a little bit of freezer burn because I wasn't careful. So you guys really gotta be careful when you have freezer meals in the oven. I mean, freezer meals in the oven. Freezer meals in your freezer, to make sure, either make sure you're double wrapping, triple wrapping it with the foil, or just keep an eye on what you're putting on top. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this foil off because I know I only need to cook it for 5 minutes. And actually, I'm thinking since I just took this out of the freezer, I'm gonna have to cook it for longer since it's frozen. We shall see about that. But let me go ahead and get this foil off so you guys can see what it looks like. And this is the Four Seasons pizza. All right, so here's the pizza. It does have a little bit of freezer burn, a little bit of a frost over the top, but I couldn't remember if my dough was raw or if I had already pre-cooked it, and I definitely already pre-cooked it, so 5 minutes is gonna be just fine at that temp. So I'm gonna let my oven preheat, and then we're gonna pop this in for 5 minutes and take it out, and it should be ready to go for lunchtime. All right, you guys, so I let this cook at 425 for an additional 2 minutes, so for 7 minutes. And it's obviously starting to brown around the outside, but it's still cold in the middle. So I'm thinking, yes, let it thaw completely before heating it up. So I took it out, and I'm gonna wait a couple minutes because I don't want this to burn. See, it's starting to really get brown. So I lowered it. I just put it on my default oven. When I press start, it goes to 350. So I'm just gonna put it in at 350 for another 5 minutes, and I'm hoping that finishes off the pizza and gets it nice, and because it's hot all around the edge, it's just in the middle, and you can see the cheese isn't really bubbling yet, so I just need to get it finished warming up in the middle and the cheese bubbling. So I'm gonna try 5 minutes at 350, and hopefully that does the trick. All right, you guys, so that extra cook time at a lower temperature did the trick. It is done. I actually went ahead and just used a fork because it is very flimsy in the middle. So it tastes good, like an adult Supreme with the artichokes and everything. And I'll have the video where I prepped this linked up in the iCards and down below, as I do with all my what I eat for dinners, the freezer meals that I make and all of that. But this is very, very cheesy. So I'm thinking if I ever make this again, which I probably won't, just because my kids don't like this. This is really just for adults. I mean, unless your kids like this type of food. My kids just prefer good old pepperoni and cheese pizza, but this one has a lot of cheese, so I would maybe cut the cheese if you're not huge into cheese, but other than that, it's really yummy. I think I would probably make a homemade freezer pizza again and just try out some different toppings next time. Okay, we are having another freezer meal dinner, and this one is called George Romney Meatballs. My kids love meatballs, so this is just a different take. We've never had them like this before, so we shall see how they like it. But basically, you just have to thaw everything. I pulled it out yesterday morning, so it's been in the refrigerator for a full, almost, you know, day and a half-ish. So it is completely thawed. I'm just gonna pour the meatballs and the sauce bag as well into a pot, and all we're doing is just stirring occasionally, letting it simmer until everything is warm and the sauce starts to thicken. Okay, so I've got my meatballs and my sauce in here, and I just went ahead and stirred it all up so everything was mixed together. And you are going to want to keep stirring this just occasionally. You don't have to stand here and constantly stir it, but just occasionally. And I do have it on about 8 for now, and I will turn it down once it really starts to simmer, but I want it to get to that boiling point. And then you are going to serve this, or you could, you don't have to, but you could serve this over noodles. The recipe, the original recipe that I used suggested egg noodles. I have a ton of spaghetti noodles, so that is what I'm going to cook. So I've already got my pot with a little bit of salt and full water pot here, waiting for that to boil so I can cook my noodles. All right, you guys, dinner is served. So the sauce didn't really thicken up like I thought it was going to, but it smells really good. So I've got my spaghetti noodles on the bottom, got a few meatballs here with the sauce on top, and then as a side, I'm serving up some green beans that I just cooked in a skillet with some butter, garlic, and slivered almonds, and then a little bit of salt and pepper. So we are gonna go ahead and sit down and eat up, and then I will let you guys know what we think of it. All right, so there is some more freezer meals. So this last clip with the meatballs over the noodles with the green beans, that green bean recipe is so easy and so good. It's definitely a tried and true. And the meatballs were good, but like I mentioned, I just wish the sauce was a little bit thicker. So I'll definitely try to, I think I'll make that again, but I might do some changes to the sauce, or maybe since I froze the sauce, I'll just freeze the meatballs next time with some of the stuff and make the sauce fresh. I don't know, but I definitely want to try it again, but I'll do some changes. And if that happens, I will share it with you guys. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Let me know if there's any freezer meals you guys would like me to try in the future, because once a month I do like to just prep new freezer meals for our freezer because we use them. Freezer meals last anywhere from, what, 6 to 8 months. It really just depends. You could Google it. It really depends on what you're freezing, but ours never last that long. I make them once a month, and then we use them over the course of that next month. Just for quick nights or, you know, lazy nights, that kind of thing. I always have a few on hand. So give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy these types of what's for dinner, me showing you guys how I'm actually cooking the freezer meals. If you are new, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.